can get rid of the recording. So we're going to talk about high ticket coaching versus low ticket coaching. I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to explain the difference between the two, and hopefully the information I give you, you're going to have an informed decision, so you know what is the best option for you, and what is going to serve you in terms of setting up a business, growing a business, and all the different things that are available. But essentially, some of you will want to deliver a high ticket service because you want to be able to give more to your clients. You don't want hundreds and hundreds of people to work with. You want small numbers to work with. And I'm going to also go through that. So how do you sell high ticket? What does a high ticket offer comprise of? And answer all your questions around that. So let's go straight into it. So first of all, low ticket versus high ticket. Now, for the purpose of today, essentially, I would consider anything that's less than £250 a month as low ticket. Typically, it's anything less than £200 a month or less than £150 a month, and anything more than £250. Now, from person to person, this differs. Some people would say that, high ticket isn't anything less than £1,500 as an overall package or program. For the purpose of this call today, we're just going to use that as our examples. Normally, for a low ticket offer, you're selling deliverables, the features. So you're telling people that they're going to get X amount of calls, they're going to get training plans, they're going to get nutrition plans. You're selling the features. And to sell this, we wouldn't normally have a call. If you did take a consultation, if you did take a call, then you're going to increase the chances of someone signing up. Whereas a high ticket offer, where you sell the outcome and the result. Essentially, with a high ticket offer, you're typically solving one big problem for a person or niche. So, for example, you might help diabetics put their diabetes into remission. You might help obese individuals to avoid ever having a gastric band. You might help people that have yo-yo dieted their whole life lose 20 pounds and keep it off for the rest of their life. So you're helping solve one big problem and you're getting one outcome, one result for a group of people. Now for this, because it's high ticket, you're going to have to probably sell on a call. In fact, I would say anything over £200 a month, you will probably need to sell on a call. I do know people that sell programs for £300 a month that sell it in DMs, sell it in private messaging, but they're quite experienced and they've been doing it a while. They've got authority. But when you're first starting out, I'd say anything that's £150, £200 or more a month, you're probably going to need to take consultations to sell it. And one of the reasons for this is you're selling the outcome and the result, and people, you need to build that value with people. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about low ticket. Before I get into that, has anyone got any questions about anything I've said so far? Either stick them in the chat or unmute yourself, and I'll answer those questions. So are there any questions so far? No? Okay, cool. If there is, just unmute yourself, shout it out, or stick them in the chat. So low ticket. Now, before we kind of talk about low ticket, I'm going to talk about whether this is realistic. So who is best suited to delivering a low ticket offer? So first of all, what you need to understand or need to know is, what is your income goal? So let's say your income goal is £3,000 a month. That's what would replace your current wage if you've got a job, or that's what would allow you to stop doing in-person stuff and just do online. So you need to know your income goal. And then what does that look like as a number of clients? So let's say that you're selling a £10 a month program. So that's a very, very low ticket offer. That means you're going to need 300 clients. I won't say every month. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So you're going to need 300 clients. £50 a month, you're going to need 60 clients. £100 a month, 30 clients, and so on and so forth. So you can see straight away, just mathematics, like if you're charging £300 to £500 a month, you don't need anywhere near the number of clients. Okay. But if you get people to commit for longer term, so this is one of the reasons why it's important that when you're first starting out or at any point in your business, you probably want to set a minimum time commitment. And we'll talk about the kind of best one here. So if you get people to commit for 3 months, then at £10 a month, you need 100 clients a month. So month one, you get 100 clients. Month two, you have those 100 clients, plus you get another 100. You're now at 200. By month three, you'll have 300 clients. And if you're continually getting 100 clients every month, you will always have that minimum of 300 clients. So if you're doing £50 a month, you only need to get 20 clients a month. £100 a month, 10 clients a month. And you can see now, if you're charging £300 to £500 a month, you need only 2 to 4 clients a month. So you can see how now it's quite realistic to have that consistent £3,000 a month. Now, just so you're aware, when I was running ads and I was selling a high ticket service, I was kind of maxed out when I was selling 20 people a month. When I was getting 20 signups a month. So this to me straight away would tell me that if you have a 3-month program, the lowest price that you could probably go to, if it's just you that's wearing all the hats in the business, is £50 a month. Anything less than that, you may struggle getting those clients. And this 20 clients was when I was running ads. Now, you might say, okay, well, if I did a 6-month program, then actually I need less clients again. So you need half the number of clients every month again, but it will take you 6 months to get to your income that you want. But what I found was 3 to 4 months was ideal, because a 6-month program actually killed my retention on the back end. And if your retention isn't very good, then what that means is you're continually having to find new clients. So when I did a 6-month program, it was great. And I got people that were really committed long-term. But then at the end of the 6 months, there was many that still weren't quite at their goal, still weren't quite maintaining. But because they'd been with me so long, they didn't want to continue. They were like, I've learned enough. You've done an amazing job. I don't need any more help. Whereas with 3 months was long enough to get some results. It was long enough to give me some kind of security with my business. So I didn't have to constantly find so many people every month. But it was also short enough that people then signed up for long-term plans afterwards. So I commonly get people sign up for 9 months or 6 months on the back of a 3 month. So it actually helped with retention. Now, the positive about having retention is if you retain people for longer, the lifetime value of your clients goes up. It means you need less clients. Okay, you don't need to go and get as many people. So retention is really, really important, which a lot of people don't really talk about. So again, if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. Just let me know, first of all, just so I know that you're all with me, it's all making sense. Just let me know if this is helpful. So just drop in the chat whether this is helpful so far. Okay, cool. Very, very helpful. Awesome. Okay, so now people might look at these numbers and they might go, well, that's easy. You know, I think it'd be easy to get 20 people paying £50 a month, or it would get easy getting 10 people every month paying me £100. So here's some actual numbers from, you know, statistics within the industry. Typically, 1% of your audience will buy. Sometimes you might get up to 3%. So what is typically found is 1 to 3% will buy. So if you're looking to do this £10 a month, really low ticket subscription service, and you need 100 clients every single month, that means for month 1, you need an audience of 10,000 people. And then you need to increase your audience, so grow your audience by nearly 10,000 people every single month. So you need to have quite a big organic audience on social media, and you need to have a very good strategy for growing that audience. Even at £50 a month, that's 20 clients, which means you probably need an audience of somewhere in the region of 2,000. And then you'll need to continually grow your audience by a considerable amount. I would say you'd probably need to grow your audience by 700 to 2,000 every month. And then if we keep going down, you can see straight away that when we get into those numbers, smaller audiences are necessary. So when I was selling a £1,500 program, I only needed to get 2 people every month to make 3K a month. and I only needed to grow my audience by 200 people. Okay. So these are all the things that people need to be aware of when they're putting out low ticket offers and high ticket offers. Which one is suited to them? Do they have the audience for a low ticket offer? Are they growing their audience enough to have a consistent low ticket offer? Or is actually a higher ticket offer going to be the best bet for them to have a sustainable business, to be able to pay themselves a wage? Because remember, if you don't pay yourself, if you're not making enough money to pay your bills and even have a little bit extra to play with, you're not going to stay in business very long. And that's obviously important, because then you don't help anyone. So one of the things that in the industry, a lot of people will say is, I just want to help as many people as possible. And that's great. And that's what everyone wants to do. However, if you're not in business and you're not making enough money to stay in business, to pay your bills, to pay your mortgage, then you won't be able to help anyone. So it's, you've got to weigh up both of those things. And from my experience, I've launched £47 a month programs. I've launched £90 a month programs. I've sold £600 a month programs. There isn't much difference between selling them. It's just as hard to get people to give me £47 a month as it is to give me, £500 a month. Yes, you might get more people, but you're going to have to make a lot more sales. Okay, so the other thing you need to think about as well with these costs. So let's say your goal is 3K a month. You then need to be aware that you're probably going to need £200 to £500 a month for your software and for your outgoings. Now, this is a lot cheaper than it would cost if you had your own facility. It's a lot cheaper than if you were going to go and work in a gym and have to clean or rent the space. But you need to be aware that you also need to factor in that. Now, I'm not saying any of this stuff is doom and gloom. Every single type of service to work. And what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a few different ways that you could do a low ticket offer and make it work. But one thing you need to also think about is if you're doing low or high ticket, both of them, is you need to think about, what about if I want to hire? Okay, if you're happy wearing all the hats in your business, right? If you're happy doing everything, doing your emails, doing your social media, doing your sales, your consulting, your coaching, everything, that's great. That's not a problem. However, if your goal is actually, I don't want to be working in my business all the time, I want to be working on the business, then that means you're going to need to hire people. So typically, these are the kind of numbers that I'd recommend. I'd normally recommend using percentages, because as your revenue increases, you don't then lose out money. So typically about 20% of the business revenue goes to coaches or some form of coaching. 20% will normally go to sales if you want to hire people to sales. And then 5% to fixed costs. And you're probably wondering why these percentages. So this is if you want to eventually build a business where you just manage. So if you want to eventually be in a place where you can step out of the business and you manage all the people in the business and grow a larger business, these are the kind of percentages you want to think about, because once you start making more than £7,000 a month, you have 20% VAT to pay if you're in the UK. If you're going to run ads to make your business sustainable, which a lot of businesses will probably have to have consistent clients coming in, then that's going to probably be around somewhere around 25% of your revenue. So that's 45% gone. With that 5% on your fixed costs, that's 50%, 20% on sales, 20% on coaching, 90% of revenue will be outsourced. So as a business, you'll only be making 10%. But you might think, oh my God, that's hardly any money. Well, it is and it isn't. At this point, if you have a business where you've hired all of these things and it's successful and consistent, and all of these positions are hired in your business, you can then scale to whatever you want. So essentially you can scale to £100,000 a month and take home 10K. Now, if you don't ever plan to outsource your coaching, you can add this 20% to other things in the business. So you can say, well, I'm always wanting to coach. I always want to coach people. So therefore I can afford to give a higher percentage to my fixed costs or to hire salespeople. So hopefully this is helping you to understand If you're doing a low ticket offer, let's say you're charging £50 a month and you want to hire coaches. Realistically, you can only afford to pay your coaches £10 a month per person if you want to have a sustainable business where you make a profit or enough profit to be able to grow the business, to be able to run ads, to be able to hire other people in the business. So all of this stuff needs to be considered. So then if you can only afford to pay someone £10 a month per client, that's going to help determine what that service looks like. Because what would a coach be willing to do for £10 a month? Probably not lots. So then you need to think about, okay, if my long-term goal is to hire coaches to help me and I'm charging £50 a month, I can only afford to really pay a coach £10 to £20 a month per client. What would a coach realistically do? Because that's going to help determine the service. Does that make sense? So hopefully this is all making sense. So comment makes sense in the chat if this is all making sense at the moment. So Mark's saying it's helpful, very, yeah, makes sense. Okay, awesome. Mark's put his thumbs up, brilliant. Okay. And then the other thing you need to think about is if you're going to do a low ticket offer, you need to think about ads, because at some point you will probably need to run ads unless you're very good with your social media and you're growing your audience regularly. Typically at the moment, but ad costs are always going up. Leads cost about £1 to £5. Again, you're going to convert 1 to 3%. So if you get 100 leads through ads, they're going to cost you anywhere between £100 and £500. And you're going to convert 1 to 3. So let's say your program is £10 a month and you only sell one person out of 100. So it's cost you, like £100. And that's really cheap leads, and you're only getting one person at £10 a month. Okay, you won't break even until at the very earliest month 10. So you're going to need to keep clients for 10 months at a minimum to start breaking even. If you sell 3 people, so if you manage to sell 3 people out of every 100, okay, you might break even by month 4, but it's going to be anywhere between 4 months and 18 months. Okay, so you can hopefully start to see how a £10 a month really low ticket offer just doesn't really make a lot of sense unless you've got a massive audience on social media. If you're selling a program for £50 a month, okay, that might work. If you're only making 1 sale out of every 100, it's still going to take you 2 to 10 months to break even. So you won't start making money on the people you sign up until 2 to 10 months down the line. However, if you can manage to convert 3 people out of every 100, you're going to break even by month 1 to 4. £100 a month, you can see here, it's going to take anywhere between 1 and 6 months or 1 and 5 months to break even, depending on whether you manage to sign 1 in 100 or 3 in 100. If you're now charging £200 a month, you can break even on the front end. So what you need to think about is if you're going to go into running ads at any point, is depending on the price of your program, whether you need to have money in your business bank account to make losses on the front end. So when you initially sign people or not. So as you can see with a high ticket offer, you don't need that. You can make money on the front end, or you can at least break even on the front end and make money long term. With low ticket offers, with running ads, you're going to lose money on the front end. It's very, very likely. And that's pretty normal, but you'll either break even or you'll make it back on the back end. And obviously that's where retention is going to be really, really important. So as it says here, if you're doing a lower ticket offer and you're going to run ads, you need to be prepared to lose money on the front end. So hopefully this is all making sense. But everything can work. A low ticket offer can work. A high ticket offer can work. Everything can work. But what you need to have is, do you have a system for getting clients? Do you have a system for growing your audience, like a strategy for getting more followers, a strategy for getting more clients? Do you have a sales process? So if you're selling low ticket in the DMs or on consultations, do you have a process for doing that so you're efficient? do you know your numbers? So obviously, if you haven't started yet, you're not going to have these numbers, but it's so, so important. And hopefully you can see from all the data I've showed you today, how important your numbers are and knowing your numbers. Because once you know your numbers, you can then start to reverse engineer things. You can start to predict things. You can start to plan things. Okay. And then obviously, if you decide that you want to go alone, try and figure all this stuff out on your own, that can be quite costly. So you need to bear in mind that you need to be prepared to test stuff, potentially lose money in the front end and all of those kinds of things. However, there is one way that you could do a low ticket model and make it work, but that's to use an ascension model. Now, the problem with this is essentially, or what this is you sign people up onto a low ticket offer. So you get them in at something low cost, but then you upsell them onto a higher ticket program. So you upsell them further down the line to one-to-one coaching or whatever it is. Now, let's say you're running ads, you might lose money on the front end because of what I've just shown you. But if you're upselling onto a higher ticket program on the back end, that's where you end up making your money back and making more in the long run. So again, it's about understanding this and going, okay, well, I might lose money on the back end, but I know my numbers. I know that I get X amount of people to sign up. And I know that out of those X amount of people, Z amount of people sign up to my high ticket on the back end. And because I know my numbers, I know I can make this work. So if you're going to follow this kind of ascension model, a couple of things I would recommend is only have a solution to one problem. What a lot of people do for low ticket and high ticket offers is they have this high ticket offer, which is their one-to-one coaching, which helps people like achieve X, Y, Z. But then they put out this low ticket offer, which does exactly the same. So then what happens is people go, well, hold on, your low ticket offer solves the exact same problems as your high ticket offer. Why would I spend £1,000 when I can spend £100? So what you need to do, and the way that I built it was I had my high ticket offer, which was my one-to-one coaches, which helped menopausal women lose weight, keep it off, have more confidence. I introduced a low ticket challenge, which was like a 4-week challenge. And all it focused on was on helping women overcome cravings and snacking. So if you're going to follow this type of model, you want to think about, okay, one, you need to know your market. You need to know what their problems are and what their biggest problems are. So is it sleep? Is it motivation? Is it confidence? Is it snacking? Is it like, what is the one problem, the one big problem they have that's stopping them getting their big ultimate goal? And then what can you sell that is that one, just literally a solution to that one problem? Because then at the end of it, you've given them the result, you've helped them, but then there's still room for you to help them more, which is where your one-to-one, your high ticket problem comes in, and that solves all the problems. And that helps them for the rest of their life. I typically wouldn't have this as an evergreen product. So evergreen means always available. So you might do launches every now and again if you're following this type of ascension model. And then obviously you need to upsell into the high ticket. So again, you'd need a strategy to get people onto a call and obviously take them and make them aware that, look, you've helped them with X, Y, Z, but here's what other problems there could be. And this is how I can help you. Now, the other thing to be aware of is maybe you're at 10K a month, maybe you're at 20K a month, maybe you're at 50 or 100K a month. If so, and you've got money to hire people, so let's say you've got a team of coaches, you don't do any of the delivery anymore, then this is a good time to then introduce a low ticket offer. Like once you have money, like a team, and you have money in the business to test stuff, you can start to then test other things. So before I move on to the high ticket stuff, has anyone got any questions about all of the stuff that I've talked about so far? Like any questions about low ticket offers, ascension models, ads to low ticket offers, like any questions about anything I've talked about so far?
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering, obviously because I'm starting out, I still haven't got any client base. Is it worth to do, like you said, about promotional classes and advertise that way just to build up your clientele?
I would typically, if you haven't got any testimonials and you haven't got any results, I would still offer a program. because
Yeah.
if you you think about it, the idea of like you helping people at a lower price to start with is to get, one, to help people, but two, to also be able to market yourself. So if you offer one-off classes, will a one-off class get someone a big outcome or result?
So again, it's more like a 4-week program challenge just to entice them in.
Yeah, that could be a really good way of going around it. So yeah, you could definitely try that.
Yeah, cool.
If I was doing like something for free or low ticket, say a challenge, I would probably do like a 5 to 7 day challenge. Like over a month, they might have got a lot out of that, depending on how you structure it. So they may not want to then continue. But yeah, challenges are a great way to bring people in, give them some value up front, get them some results up front, and then potentially show them you can help them to then upsell them into working with you afterwards. That's a really, really good way of doing it. I've done it that way. There's pros and cons with every method, but that can definitely work. Like everything can work, Stuart, like absolutely everything. So like whatever you feel, it's just, if something's not working, so if you try something, it doesn't work, it's not because that solution doesn't work. It's because maybe something needs tweaking, like within it. So yeah, absolutely everything can work. Anything else, Stuart?
No, not at the moment. Sorry, I got my son with me.
That's all right, no problem at all. Mark, Louisa, anything you want to ask me, or all good? Okay, there we go. There's something in the chat. All good, perfect. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to talk about is the high ticket. So now it's really, really hard for me to kind of like literally break it all down. There's so many steps to this, to selling high ticket. There's so much to kind of talk about. So I'm going to go through like a few basic things. So if you're going to go down the high ticket route, so if you've kind of listened to what I've said and you're like, well, actually for me, I've got a small audience. I don't have any ad budget. My audience isn't growing aggressively. All of those kinds of things, you might say, well, actually, it makes more sense for me to sell high ticket. Now, a lot of people will say, well, no one's going to buy it. Like, no one will pay me that kind of money. Just to give you an example of why that's not necessarily true, I went into London on Sunday, took my wife into London. We went for Mother's Day, and we walked past this trainer shop, and like some trainers I've never seen before. And I was like, oh, they're really nice. Let's go in and let's have a look. So we went in and had a look. Basically, it was all custom trainers. They're all one of a kind. £800 for a pair of trainers. And there was a queue for people to buy trainers in there. To buy a pair of trainers, £800. Every single year, most people will spend, on average, so according to a Google search I did, on average, for a holiday in the UK, a couple will spend on average £1,500 for 1 week. For 2 weeks abroad, the total cost for a couple is normally about 3,500 according to Google. So if you go out, if you literally just go and have a walk around your local area, a lot of people are worried that there's no money. People don't have money. But if you look at cars, mobile phones, laptops, restaurants, and you look even in your local area, there will be people that are spending the type of money that you can charge for your service everywhere. I remember when I was younger, I thought about being a PT when I was younger, and I told myself these stories. I was like, it's a saturated market. There's no point. Everyone's doing it. I think I was about 20 at the time, and I ended up going into teaching. And I chose not to do it because I genuinely believe it's saturated. No one's gonna pay me money. I won't make any money from it. I'll struggle. And I thought, in the town that I come from, so I come from a little town called Dunstable. It's like, people in Dunstable don't have the money. They'll never pay it. And actually, over the last year, using Facebook ads, I've had 2 people, just coincidence, pure coincidence, 2 people from my hometown of Dunstable that have paid me £1,500 for a 12-week program. So there are people everywhere that have access to the money to pay for a high ticket program. But there's a few things you need to be like acutely aware of to be able to sell that. And there's a few things you need to do to be able to sell that. So there's people everywhere. There is money everywhere. As I said, just walk around your local towns, walk around your local cities, and you will see that there is money everywhere. Cars, phones, laptops, holidays, like all kinds of stuff. There is money everywhere. It's just, one, you need to be super clear on a niche. Okay, and a niche isn't a gender. The niche is a type of person. So what kind of problems does someone have? Like your niche might be diabetics. Your niche might be people suffering with hypothyroidism. Your niche might be people that suffer with emotional eating or eating disorders. Okay, your niche is a problem. So what problem do you help people solve? And if the problem is big enough, or it's having a big impact on someone, it will be worth more than a mobile phone. The latest mobile phone is £1,200. It will be worth as much as a holiday in the UK. And there will be people that will be willing to pay that when they've spent thousands upon thousands over the last 20 years on diets, but actually you as an expert are able to solve that problem once and for all. They would happily pay that money if it means they don't have to continue doing it. Just look at lipo, for example. So lipo, it costs about £4,000, and they're going to suck a load of fat out of your body. So it's instant results. People will pay £4,000 for lipo. I've had clients that have paid £4,000 for lipo, had the weight sucked out or the fat sucked out, and then regained weight afterwards, and still were then dieted afterwards. So, if you're telling yourself that people won't pay it, or others are telling you that they won't pay it, it's not true. I've got one client at the moment. He's made 15 grand this month selling a £1,500 program. So 10 sales at £1,500. Last month, in the last week of the month, they made 6 grand to 4 sales in the last week of the month. Amelia is now one of the clients. She's selling an £800 program. She sells probably, I would say, nearly every week. She makes at least one sale. I sold 400 people over the last 2 years at over £1,000 per client. So there are people out there, but what you need to do is you need to solve one big problem and speak directly to that one person. Okay. What you also need to be aware of, it's no longer about what you deliver or how you deliver. It's about delivering. People will pay that money if they genuinely believe you can deliver that result, that outcome. Now, if you haven't got any client successes, you haven't got any testimonials, then that's going to be really hard to convince people, but it doesn't mean they won't. So there's a few things you can do there. Oh, got Edward joining us as well. So Edward's a little bit late. So what you can do when you're first starting out is the goal might be to go to a high ticket offer, but you might start off at lower prices to start with. I would never recommend doing it for free, but you might start out working with your first couple of people for free. The reason why I wouldn't recommend working with someone for free to start with is they're not invested. If there's no investment into it, are they going to do the work necessary to get the results? And also, if you're not receiving any income for it, are you going to do as much for it as if someone was paying you for it? So I would always recommend it, even if it's a small amount to start with, to get some client success, to get some testimonials. And you can launch that as a beta program and say, look, at the moment, I haven't got many clients. I'm going to launch my first ever beta program. It's going to be a massive discount on the price to what it will eventually be, and see if you, from the people that you're having conversations with, do it that way. But if you've already got client successes, you've already got client results, then it's about showing people that you can deliver on that outcome and that result. And if people believe that, then they're more likely to pay it. And the last thing I'm going to show you that will really help you with selling a high ticket offer is the value offer equation. So if you haven't already, I would 100% recommend you listen to Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. Within the book, he talks about the value offer equation, which is desired outcome times by likelihood of success. That's the top of the equation. That's the first part. So when you are trying to get someone to sign up, they want to know, do you help them or can you help get their desired outcome? So you need to know your niche. You need to know what their desired outcomes are. What are the problems you help them overcome? What is the outcomes you get for those people? It's not about what you deliver. It's not about your amazing program. It's not about, you know, your training plans, your nutrition plans. It's about the outcomes. And how can you show people that you can increase their chances of success? Testimonials, client success stories, giving value in your content. Maybe what Stuart talked about, a challenge, so you're getting them a result up front. How can you show them that you can increase their chances of success? And then the bottom part of the equation is this. You divide the desired outcome desired outcome times likelihood of success divided by the time sacrifice. In fact, it's time plus, I believe, sacrifice times effort. So what you're looking to do is you're looking to show how you can increase the chances of success at the top of the equation. And you're looking to show people how you can decrease the time, sacrifice, and effort. And this is why people pay £4,000 for lipo. The likelihood of success is nearly 100%. The time it takes to get that success is instant. They go in for an operation, they've got the fat sucked out of them the next day. The sacrifice, again, is little. The effort is zero effort. So you can see straight away, because this value offer equation has been applied, this is why lipo is thousands of pounds. And this is why people are willing to pay it. Now, how does that apply to you? How can that help you? So in your content, in what you put out there, you need to show people this. Now, you're obviously not going to get people instant results. You can't help someone lose 20 pounds in a day. You know, you can't help them get those kinds of results. But what you can do is you can show that actually the perceived time it takes for someone to get results is less with you. So, for example, people might diet for 20 plus years, yo-yo dieting, losing weight, gaining weight. So you, in your content, you want to talk about that. How actually, yeah, you might lose more weight on a shake diet, but does the weight stay off? And how many times are you going to be doing that diet? So therefore, actually, it takes a lot longer to get to your goal by doing those diets. Whereas with me, we're going to help you lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks. And we're going to help you lose the rest of your weight in the next 6 months. And I'm going to give you all the tools to keep it off for the rest of your life. So 9 months of dieting to lose the weight for good, or 20 years of shakes. So straight away, you're showing people how actually your solution reduces the time it takes overall in their lifetime. And what you want to show them is how can doing it your way reduce their sacrifice, reduce their effort. If you solve a big problem for one type of person and you can include this stuff within your content, you can charge easily £250 to £600 a month. Any questions? So that's all I've got for you guys. So has anyone got any questions in the chat, or they want to unmute themselves and ask me any questions?
Yeah, me again.
Hey Ed, how's it going?
Good. So I'm doing a...
Oh, Stuart, sorry.
Sorry,
I thought it was Edward that was talking. It's Stuart. Yeah, go for it, Stuart.
Yeah, so I'm doing I'm working with the local county council in Hampshire, and they it's a 12-week free program for people obese and general health issues. They talk about nutrition and exercise. So it's like an hour and a half session a month, and I deliver that. Would I be able to adapt that and obviously create a package with that? Or because I say at the moment, just people coming to the end of the 12 weeks, I'm handing out my business cards and say, look, if you want to continue, if you enjoy the exercises, if you want to become more regular, by all means give us a shout. So I've got them people like tweaking at the interest, but it's a matter of getting that.
Yeah, so the only thing I'd say to you, Stuart, is, yeah, that's great in terms of like building a program. However, remember, depending on whether you're going to do a low ticket, high ticket. If you're going to go down the high ticket route, it's not the program that people care about. So like, yeah, that program might be great, but what you want to focus on is the outcome and the results that gets people, and the type of person that you're going to direct that to. If it's low ticket, then you talk about the deliverables and how much they're going to get for their money. Because people make decisions based on price for the low ticket, whereas for high ticket, they're basing decisions more on emotions and the outcome and the result, and how that's going to make them feel and how that's going to impact their life.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else any questions? If not, that's great. If so, cool. Let's go for it. No questions? No? Okay, cool. Was this all helpful, guys? Yeah, obviously, Ed, I'll send you over the recording because you missed like a large chunk at the beginning. So I'll send you over the recording. And then, guys, if you've got any questions, if you ever want any help, so if you ever want me to kind of help you to structure your offer, to get clear on your niche or anything like that, you're interested in having a chat about helping, like me helping you, then feel free to send me a message and we can have a chat about that and have a chat about my program and how we can potentially help you. Just so you're aware, because I know that someone I spoke to today said, I'm not sure that, you can help me because it seems like you're more kind of for people that have already got programs. So Karen never had a program before. She sold 2 people at £900 in January when she launched her program. Zoe, same thing. She sold 2 people at £1,200 each, and she'd never worked with anyone. She literally launched her program in January. So it isn't just those people that have already got clients that I help, it's everyone. And because I've obviously been there not that long ago, 2 to 3 years ago, it's not like I've not done it. It's not like I wasn't there. I've been there. I've kind of been through all those steps, and I can help you. If you want to do a low ticket, we can try and see if we can make that work. If it makes more sense to do high ticket, we can direct you how to do that as well. So if you ever want to chat about that, guys, if you ever want to have a call to see whether it makes sense working together, just send me a message and we can have that conversation. All right. Thank you ever so much for your time today. I really appreciate you all showing up. I hope you got a ton of value from it, and I'll speak to you all soon.